the Heat are doing bits right now, and I feel like we really got to. I remember, I want to say it was Abbas. We all got to give a little clap to Abbas for telling us that Eric Spoelstra is the only clap you're gonna get from us.
Ever.
When we done our coach, this is one of your hot takes that actually kind of works. So well done.
What was that hot take about Spoelstra?
We all done a coach of the year, and he was the only one that said Eric Spoelstra, and he said like, don't sleep on Eric Spoelstra, don't sleep on the Heat, and you were right, bro. You were right, because right now they look like they're about to sweep the number 1 seed with the reigning MVP and Defensive Player of the Year. But the question, okay, you know what? Let's be real. I think the series is done.
Yeah,
it's done.
So I think it's done. So I feel like the real question,
sweet,
bring that. I feel like the real question is what is next for the Bucks? What is next for, in particular, Giannis Antetokounmpo? So guys, I want to hear everyone. What is next for Giannis and how?
First of all, Tony, when is Giannis a free agent?
Next season. Let me check the contract, but I think it's next season.
2021.
Yeah, I think.
Let's get confirmation. 2021, yeah?
Yeah.
I think it is,
so he agreed an extension for 100 mil that runs through next season, 2020, 2021.
Okay. With the Bucks, we've got to look at their journey since, Giannis took that level to become an MVP stature of a player. So last season, they got to conference finals. They lost in 6. They won the first 2 games, both at home. And then they lost 4 straight to the Raptors with Kawhi. Overall, I'll say that was a good season because no one really thought the Bucks were going to get to the conference finals. No one thought they were going to be competing something for the title. Because in my estimation, if you get to conference finals, you've competed for an NBA title, depending on how you go far in your series. So they did well in that estimation. So last season wasn't a write-off. They did well. Giannis had a good playoff season, a good postseason. He did well against the Pistons. He smoked the Celtics. Raptors, of course, he kind of fumbled the bag, but Kawhi played super defense, and Nick Nurse did really good coaching and management and changed the defensive strategy to kind of really stifle Giannis and the Bucks. Now this season, they've done better in terms of their performances in the regular season. They've looked unbeatable in some stages, but where the Bucks have kind of really derailed now is that the last week before the season shut down due to the coronavirus pandemic, I think the last 5 games, I think they were 3-2, 3 wins, 2 defeats, right? And of course, they lost to the Lakers on that Friday night, 4 days before the season suspended. And then since they've gone back, they really never picked up their mojo prior to that, first week, before the first week of March in 2020. And they've just really not been the team that they've been from October to February, and then February. And then you look at the performances in the bubble. I think they were 5-3 in the seeding games, and the postseason they lost the first game to the Magic, which I know is only the first game, but they were quite poor, and they were never really magnificent against the Magic because you expect them to beat the Magic quite comfortably. So we can't act like they were dominant because you expect them to beat the Magic, and the Magic are crap. Let's be real. Now this series against Miami, this is where for me is a real concern. I think next season they really need to kind of look at how they're going to get better and how they're going to really make sure they are really getting the right pieces around Giannis, because I feel as they get bounced out either today or potentially on Tuesday, they got 1 season for me to get everything right. And that's for me an NBA championship. Not a final, not conference finals, an NBA championship. Because this season, if you're going to get swept in the second round by Miami Heat, with no real bona fide star. Jimmy Butler's a great player.
You mean Butler's not a bona fide star?
No, he's not bona fide. He's not
tier one. He's not tier one. He's not tier one. He's a very good player. He's all-star, but he's not tier one. He's not tier one. He's a Robin. He's
not tier one. He's not tier one.
He's not on Giannis level. He's not on Giannis level.
He's a very good defensive player. Like I think his defensive rating is really good. What you say to Abbas?
What did he drop in the first?
40.
No,
He
but
dropped 40.
that's a game.
That's irrelevant.
That's a game. If you got 50 points, is he tier one?
No. But put some respect on Jimmy. Jimmy,
we're putting respect, but he's not tier one.
He's not tier one.
No,
if you had 20 players and you look at the starter team,
yeah, he's not.
Yeah.
No, Tony.
He's not tier one. No, I'm saying I agree with you. Mm-hmm. Jimmy's not tier one, but I won't class him as just a good defender. Like he's a very good basketball player. I think he's good on both ends of the floor. Like he can, he can get buckets. I'm not saying he's KD. I'm not saying he's a shooter. But don't get it twisted. Jimmy can get his own. Like, he can hold his own, man.
Yeah, you make a good point. Like he's good as an offensive player. Like even this series, that pass he made to Jay Crowder in Game 3 when he took it to when he made that 3 to go 7 points the last 2, that was amazing. Like, I feel like he's become a better facilitator, especially since he joined the Heat and has really had that responsibility of being the primary facilitator for this team. He's done well, and he's a good defensive player, and he's a very good defensive player. But he's not a tier 1 kind of a player. He's not a bona fide star. I think he's still got time to get there. Depending if you're going to chip for this team, will take him to the finals within this season or next season. You get me? That's not fun. You can maybe put him to that type of tier. But if the Bucks, this is what we need to deep. Giannis antetokounmpo, right? A generational talent, a transcendent talent, an MVP, about to be potentially a back-to-back MVP, a defensive player of the year.
He's not
this guy is, well, he kind of is if you look at it. Really,
nah, he wasn't. Not in the beginning.
Not in the beginning. But right
now,
he's seen it. He's 25, right? Do you know what I'm saying? So he's seen it right now. He's going to be, a player which is going to be a dominant force. Depending if he can lead the Bucks and if he can win the championship. But he's a very good, like, he's gonna dominate. He's gonna dominate. And I feel like the reason I'm saying dominate, I won't say he's an all-round technically great player because I read this tweet and I just really just deeped it. Giannis, apart from running into lanes and just dunking in the paint, he's just a very tall basketball player. I think we just need to. He's just a very tall basketball player.
That's what
he can
Harden
rebound
said.
though. He can rebound at a really high level.
He can rebound, but he's tall.
But not every tall player can rebound though.
He's got the strength. He's got the physical stature. But I'm talking about technical ability. Say again, bro.
Intangibles, but Harden said he's got basketball. He's got basketball intangibles, but this is what James Harden said. Do you remember, like, when they beefed? James Harden said, what doesn't require skill, which there's some truth into. We were all like, come on, man, this is the MVP, James Harden. What are you doing? Now we're looking. Now we're seeing it. Like
100%.
He doesn't have skill, but he's not as skilled as the small men. Number one. The thing is with Giannis, he's got the size, but I don't see him like. Look, he has the potential to dominate like Shaq in the paint if he really wants. But I don't think he has that in him. If that makes sense. I feel like he has the potential, but he doesn't have it in him. Because right now, can you imagine Shaq? No, not Shaq. Can you imagine Giannis like backing down someone like Bam Adebayo?
No chance.
I think he could though.
I can't see it right now. And the thing is with Giannis, it's like Giannis is a couple steps away from becoming a demigod. He's a jump shot away from becoming KD 2.0.
Yeah,
KD.
exactly.
And he's just like maybe a bit more bulkier and a bit more. He needs to get alpha dog mentality to become someone as dominant as Shaq, but we're not seeing that right now. And so the question is like, what is it with Giannis? Is like, what is
the thing
it?
is, I don't think, I don't actually, in terms of this series, I don't think it's a Giannis thing. I think it's just a Miami thing. Because I think, for me personally, the thing that annoys me so much about Miami is the perfect bogey team. They're the perfect bogey team. Think about literally, if you look at the stat sheet for this game, Miami did everything right. Jimmy had 37-6. Crowder had 17-5-4. Bam had 20-16. And Dragic had 15-5 and 3. Like, that's perfect. There's nothing you can do.
Yeah.
There's nothing you can do.
But the situation is that we, as basketball fans and just us who really know Milwaukee and what they can do, is the fact that they're the number 1 seed, and they've been the number 1 seed for the past 2 years. Not in the Eastern Conference, but even the NBA. Right, cool. A number 1 seed for me should not be getting on the second round. There's no excuse for it. You shouldn't be getting on the second round. And even that, you haven't made this a series.
Looking at this team and looking at this team and this series, personally, in terms of everything we've seen from Milwaukee, for me personally, this is it. This is it. Like, this is as much as you can get
but that's negative on them.
I don't think. No. It is negative on them. But the thing is, in terms of the reason why I say Miami is the perfect bogey team is because you can put them up. I feel like you can put them up against a lot of teams, and they can do this to a lot of teams. They don't have the star power, but they've got the personnel. They've got the dogged mentality, and like it could be a thing of, obviously we know Giannis is a free agent in 2021. It could be a thing of when it comes to later today, and we bring these out. Yeah, it could be a thing of Jimmy goes up to Giannis and be like, "See you."
And that's
it could be one of those things.
And that's very true. But I just think even with this situation, like, Giannis is to blame, but also you got to look at the pieces around him as well. Like, it's also that this team here is built for the regular season. It can perform in the regular season, but when it comes to crunch in the playoff, they don't have the team around Giannis to pick it up for him in the playoffs, because you got Chris Middleton as your Robin, like really and truly. On any other team, he's a third wheel or he's a fourth wheel, and that's who Giannis has to look to.
No, you're not even Flash. Flash is too good, bro. Probably like that.
Exactly. Do you know what I mean?
I think if Beto for me had better production and he was just performing better than like what we saw of him last season, and even like the majority of the postseason last season. I think last year he was doing really well, Bledsoe. Innit? This season he's been quite up and down, not as consistent as we expected.
Even Eric Bledsoe and Chris Middleton, like we've seen in the NBA, bruv. You need two superstars to win, bruv. You need a 1A and a 1. You know what I mean? You need a Harden, Westbrook. You need a KD and a Kyrie. You need a LeBron and AD. That's just to compete. You need a Kawhi, Paul George. You can't have that with Chris Middleton.
That's true.
You can't have one. You need a 1 and a 1A, bruv.
What I want to,
and that's why I think the Bucks need to just blow it up, because there's no point waiting to next year where we know Giannis is gonna leave. He will either go to Golden State or he's gonna go to the Raptors. In that sense. So I just think they should just blow it up. You know, trade with Golden State and just rebuild. Do you know what I mean? Because the Nets are coming, and once the Nets have their full squad, they're the favorites to win the East. So there's no point Giannis staying there, because once KD and Kyrie are doing their thing, it's a go. Like, it's a go for them.
See, for me, the way I look at it is exactly what you guys are saying. The Milwaukee Bucks are basically the best regular season team right now in the NBA, but that means nothing because they don't have that dog in him. This is why I kept saying, Jimmy Butler, come playoff time, with a chip on his back, is going to show up. And if you really look at it, the Miami Heat are smart. They've made so many free throws that it's a free throw. The clock is stopped. You're getting 3 points. This is what I just look at the Milwaukee Bucks and I just think, you have someone like Giannis, but then you're not taking advantage of the fact that he can actually get you them free throws. But when he gets there, he can't make them. So if anything, you neutralize one of the main things that can help you win a series like this, which is making free throws. Then on top of that, when you look at the entire team, the fact that they didn't have Malcolm Brogdon anymore, that's a huge factor. If you get back into that squad, I can say that they have a better chance. I still take Miami because I've always said this, a guy with a chip on his back is a guy that's better than any other player. And the fact that where Jimmy Butler has come from, that's just adds them to it. And then on top of that, you can tell that someone like an Embiid as well, when he's tweeting the way he's tweeting in a Miami game, he's trolling, he's acknowledging the fact that you guys paid the wrong guy in Tobias Harris over Jimmy Butler. Even if you really look at it, I just see that Giannis, if he's smart, he moves over to Miami. If he can take the heat, because no pun intended, because he's going to get a lot for it, just like how KD got for Golden State. And if they don't give it to him, then we're going to have a conversation about it. Because if you can get swept, then move on over to that opposition team, which I feel like he will do, then there needs to be a conversation about that as well. I don't care what people say about the players that they have, but there's a conversation there, because I do personally think Miami, if they're smart, try to tap up Giannis, then they bring that dog into him with Jimmy Butler, and then come Eastern Conference next season, even when the Kyries and KDs are thingy, I believe Miami will be the favorites again. Like,